As new employees, I'd like your opinion on our commercial. I've paid to have it aired during the Super Bowl. Wow. Not on the same channel, of course.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow!
You're the unfrozen guy from the 20th century, right?
Last time I checked.
You're the kind of guy who visits Jerusalem and doesn't want to see the Sexiteria.
Can I do the countdown?
Huh? Oh, sure. Knock yourself out.
10, 9.
Okay, we're here.
Don't be touching my 3 beautiful robot daughters. Yeah! Crank up the radio! I like having her around because she has the same blood type as me. I am Fry from the planet Earth.
Wise guy, huh? If I wasn't so lazy, I'd punch you in the stomach.
But you are lazy, right?
Ah, don't get me started.
Oh dear, I really ought to do something. But I am already in my pajamas.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay. If everyone's finished being stupid.
I had more, but you go ahead.
Oh, dang it!
Futurama, coming soon to Fox.
Futurama takes place 1,000 years from now in New York City, which is a city built on the ruins of New York City. So if you want to know what it's like 1,000 years from now, this little cartoon will let you know. You know, all my life I've been fascinated by a whole bunch of stuff in our culture. For instance, I love the American family. And so with The Simpsons, that was my take on the American family. So what I've done to the American family with The Simpsons, we're going to do to science fiction with Futurama. Fry's a loser in his mid-20s. You know, I'm sort of like a lot of us. Not that I'm in my mid-20s, but when I was in my mid-20s, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. In fact, it would have been a great thing if I had been frozen for 1,000 years in my mid-20s. That would have been the answer to all my problems. It's the answer to his problems. The idea with Fry is what happens when your whole life is completely messed up and you have the opportunity to do it over again. In Fry's case, 1,000 years from now. Are you able to reinvent yourself and become a hero and a winner, or will you be a loser for all time? And that's what this show is all about. Bender is a robot who is Fry's best friend in the whole universe. And Bender is a pretty cool robot. He's a Bender. His full name is Bender Unit Number 22. He's programmed to bend girders. That's all he's been programmed to do, but he hates his job. And as a result, he drowns his despair in beer and shoplifting, and he reads robot pornography, and just like circuit diagrams. And he's not really like the other sidekick robots you might have remembered from the past. Not like the one in Lost in Space or The Forbidden Planet, Robbie the Robot. He drinks beer and then he eats the bottles. Leela is perhaps the most beautiful woman in Fry's universe. However, she has one notable distinctive feature. She has one eye in the middle of her forehead. And what I thought would be cool is, science fiction is full of these sexy babes, right? Curvaceous, voluptuous, with tight spandex pants running around and stuff. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to allow the horny animators draw that beautiful babe, but give her one eye and drive the boys crazy? So that is my goal. We have the most amazing cast on Futurama, and they're just capturing the characters in ways you can't believe. Katie Sagal is Leela, and except for the fact she's got two eyes, she looks like Leela. And and Billy West does multiple characters. He's the voice of Fry on The Professor and countless other characters on the show. John DiMaggio is the voice of Bender, who's going to be a huge star. He's just Bender's going to be a huge star. So is John DiMaggio. Tress MacNeille does many voices on The Simpsons. Also does many voices for us. And then Phil Lamar is the voice of Hermes, among other characters. Hermes is our Jamaican accountant. I did hundreds of different kinds of designs for each character before I arrived on the vague, crude design that then I gave to professional designers, and they sort of cleaned up a little. Then I took their cleaned up version and I made them crude again, and that's the result of what you see on the air. We will have celebrity voices on Futurama. In fact, the celebrities will even be able to play themselves. How? How can you play yourself 1,000 years from now? If you're willing to be a head in a jar, we will allow you to be on Futurama. We have in the show, we have Dick Clark as Dick Clark's head in a jar. Leonard Nimoy's head in a jar. Me, my head in a jar. And any other celebrity who's willing to step forward and be decapitated, come on down. The great thing about Futurama, I think, is that if you love science fiction, this is going to be heaven, because this has a lot of science fiction elements in it that we really run with. And if you hate science fiction because it's so stupid, you're going to love this. Because we do to science fiction what needs to be done. We poke fun at all the ridiculousness and the absurdity of science fiction, and at the same time, we honor it. One of the great things about this is still, I'm still doing it. I'm still getting away with it. I can't believe it. This is what I used to get in trouble for doing in school. This is what they used to rap my knuckles with a ruler about. You're drawing. You're wasting your time. Don't draw those rocket ships. Wham! And now I'm doing it. It's great.
I play Leela on Futurama, and Leela is a cyclops. So probably the first thing you'd notice is that she's got one eye. She's a babe with one eye, and she's kind of she was sort of described to me at the beginning as kind of she's a tough ass with one eye. What can I tell you? Leela is the captain of the ship. Like I said, they work for this other guy, and they're in a delivery service, and they go on missions. And Leela is like, the Captain Kirk of the whole operation. She's the boss. Well, hopefully, if I've done my homework, I've read the script before I get to the table read, and but the table read is when you sit around with the rest of the other cast members and the producers and the writers and people from the network, and this is the first time you've heard it out loud. And this is when the writers take their notes, and they'll go back to the drawing board and send you another script with more changes. So that's pretty much what the table read is about. Oh, he's a doll. Matt Groening is such a nice guy, and funny, as we all know. So that's nice, and it's just a really nice guy, low key. Like I never left. No, which yeah, I hardly ever did. I don't know. It feels great. You know, I love the Fox network. I've been around since they were started.
Fry is a sort of a disgruntled New Yorker. He's a delivery boy, kind of fed up with his life. He's got like nothing left and nothing left to lose type of thing. And he becomes cryogenically frozen while delivering a pizza. And he is thawed out and assimilated into New York, which is a couple thousand years down the road. And he has no idea which end is up. On Futurama, I do the voice of Fry, Professor Farnsworth, who's sort of like one of these kind of guys, you know, befuddled, and Dr. Zoidberg, who is a lobster, an over-evolved lobster. I usually like to do the voices right as you go, like one character after the other, because that way you're coming off of your acting from the other character. Sometimes when you go through the whole script as one character and then you go back and do the whole script with another character, you forget what you're playing off of. So, and I think editors, they don't have to sift through 6 million takes to put stuff together. But I mean, they probably have to do that anyway, because there's so much good stuff going on. They got to choose a lot of stuff. I think your job is to not be afraid of anything. You know, to come in there and just like throw a bunch of stuff out and let the directors and the editors choose what they're looking for. Because sometimes you'll throw in something so goofball, and you know, like in your heart of hearts, you'll know that they'll never go for this, and then they'll go, where did that come from? You know, let's use it. I kind of idolized Matt from afar, you know, because I was working on Ren and Stimpy, and The Simpsons was kicking butt, and never met him, and then finally got a chance to read for him and try some different stuff. And I mean, I was always a huge fan of his work, and I read the cartoon strip Life in Hell every week, you know, in the LA Weekly, and, you know, just get such a kick out of his work.
Well, Bender really isn't like a Danger Will Robinson kind of a robot. He's just like basically, you know.
What's in it for me? For crying out loud,
You know, he's one of those kinds of guys, and he always seems to get his way and gets drunk. Bender does, gets always. He's actually a bender. That's what he was. He's a bender. He just bends girders. That's what he's supposed to do. But now he's out of place. He was out of commission. He's sick of life, and he wants out. Bender likes to steal just because he can. He's good at it. And he's the kind of, he's so good at it, he shovels stuff. And he loves to get, I mean, he gets caught, and he loves to talk his way out of it, like,
I didn't take, well, that was, okay. You thought that I was, no. And then what we were thinking, if you had, well, you see, the thing was that I brought in the,
and he always manages to get busted. But sometimes he doesn't, and he gets away. Ooh, he gets away clean.
On your own?
I was able to come in and give them Bender's voice, what I thought, my interpretation of what Bender was. And it worked, and they liked it.
Matt Groening had the idea for the show actually about 3 years ago, probably, so it's really been bubbling around in his head for a long time now. And I was working at The Simpsons for the last 5 years or so we got to know each other there. And as the science nerd of the Simpsons staff, or one of several actually, but the longest lasting science nerd on the Simpsons staff, I think, to be the natural choice to work with him on this show. So at the time I came in, he had a couple of the major characters, Fry and Leela, already in mind. As far as the look, it's Matt Groening's drawing style, and hopefully that will give it a little familiarity that people will appreciate, while at the same time he's given it a lot of strange twists that you would never see in The Simpsons, and we have aliens and bizarre creatures of every type. There could be any amount of time from one day to a year between when we think of the idea for the story and actually begin talking about it in earnest. But once we begin talking about it in earnest, we put a few days into that process. Then someone goes out and writes the script for 3 or 4 weeks. Then a group of writers, usually somewhere between 5 and 8 of us, sit around a table for a week straight, basically, all day, every day, just kind of combing over every line. And this is the same process The Simpsons goes through, basically, and just trying to pack it with the density of material that people are used to from The Simpsons. After that, we have the table reading, in which we get to hear the actors actually perform it and see if the lines are anything like what we imagined when we were writing it. And then we do a little rewriting based on that. So all in all, it probably adds up to about 2 months from the initial discussions to when we end up recording the show.
A big part of my job is to ensure that the design of the show is really terrific, and that every detail of the show sort of has that extra sense of really existing within that universe, and being interesting to look at, and furthering the story. Futurama is going to be amazing. It's it's set in New York City. It's just and the sets are loaded with beautiful futuristic skyscrapers, all kinds of flying vehicles, everything from flying taxis and police cars to flying buses, blimps, rockets, robots. There's a little transport system called the Tube that runs through the city of New York, and basically all you have to do is stand under it, and it vacuum sucks you to wherever you want to go. So it's going to be loaded with all sorts of great stuff. Matt really, he's so good. He comes up with a lot of this stuff himself. Often we'll just, make minor tweaks in order to make the designs work, in animation. And occasionally, somebody else will come up with another idea that we want to go with instead of an idea that Matt has. So, it's a real give and take process.
As producer of the show, my day-to-day role is kind of the merging of art and commerce, and I kind of oversee basically the production of the show from all its artistic and business facets, and basically make sure things are getting done on schedule and as per the proper way they're supposed to look, and on budget and all that stuff. I think what makes this show different is, one thing is it's funnier, it's a little edgier because it's not centered around a family, so that's kind of different. And I think the addition of the 3D work brings a whole other level to the animation that's not included in a lot of other animated shows that are on television right now. And I think the 3D also helps us really flesh out this world of the future.
But, what I was thinking of, again...
well, that's not even the design,
But what I was thinking of,
somebody else.
those... So, hey, this is good. This is actually good. What we're doing here is we're trying to come up with a design for, This is a character named Ignar. He's he's not too smart, and so this was sort of a default design. This is a design I did just to get the animator started. But I've never been happy with design, so we've been doing some other designs. So there's one possibility. There's another possibility. So I sort of like the sort of chicken, kind of a crown thing, and there's another one here. Oh, there's the original design again. A blank sheet. Look at that. There's another one.
I like this one, actually.
And to try to give them a little bit of, take away cranial capacity. This one, we went in a different direction. This one didn't quite work out. Another version, I gave up on that one. Another one.
That's our fish hook character.
This is another one. This is another one. This is a different one. And I think this is pretty close to the final version. Yeah, see, with the little thing sticking up like that. That's Fry. Then there's Leela, who, this is the sort of the early sexy version of Leela with the tiny nose. This is based on my original drawing. But see, that's my idea of a sexy babe. And the thing is, these guys, these designers who like to draw sexy women, they didn't like those lips, and they thought her nose was too big. That's pretty hot, isn't it? Oh, here's the final design. Okay, this is Bender, as I originally drew him, and what he turned out to be. We took away his little side antennas.
Basically, he's laying out all the key poses of animation, which are later filled in and animated. In this case, how to draw Bender, and it basically breaks down, his raw construction so that even though we have 30 layout people, they're all drawing Bender theoretically exactly the same way, and that basically helps to be able to do that. The layout people start out with an approved storyboard, which you can see out here, which is basically just a comic book almost of the script. And from there, we go to layout, which are all the poses broken down. And these guys try and follow the storyboard as closely as possible.
That's what I like.
Well, eventually it's stripped out, pasted down onto the official storyboard pages where the dialogue and the action is also stripped down. So basically that's what Matt and the writers get. So this is a color lineup of all the lead characters that we're actually color keying in the computer, which basically means picking out the actual colors that the characters and all their wardrobe will be. These are the four main characters, Fry, Bender, Leela, and the Professor, and these are rough colors that we're blocking out that eventually will evolve to be the final approved color.
In fact, that's what the show is going to have a lot of, spinning. Wow.
So Matt, you've seen, and these are just vehicles you've seen. This is basically an actual scene from the show. This is what's out the window, and Fry looks out the window, into New York.
Wow,
Okay,
beautiful.
so then
Beautiful.
What do we have?
The motion of each part is really easy to adjust. So Eric will show you right now that just by sliding a few things, you can get a complex motion to occur, like the opening up of the front bay, the lowering of the back feet, and the cargo bay are all adjusted with a single slider for each object. All the 3D models start off as a 2D cleanup drawing that the artists upstairs do, and then basically the drawing comes down here, we map it into the computer, and they essentially build the model directly off of the drawing.
Right. Jordan knew about it. We had a meeting yesterday.
He's 9,000 years old. But he's just like, still working. He got into the voiceover thing after his retirement age.
We see Bender only from the waist up as the machine flashes. We hear a motorized polishing noise.
Now, while you're greasing the pan and preheating your oven to 3,500 degrees, you're gonna separate the yolk from your genetically enhanced eggplant and then give the whole thing a good blast from your spice weasel.
You're not in the 20th century anymore. You don't know how things work here.
I'm not a little kid, Leela. I grew up in this city. These are my people.
Fry waves to a passing bizarre alien.
What up?
Word.
See?
Lie down on the table. I take lungs now. You'll come next week.
Fry lies down on a makeshift operating table.
First.
A burly thug steps out of the darkness and holds Fry down.
Let's do it.
Shady guy raises a scalpel over Fry's chest. Suddenly, Leela appears from around the corner.
Fry, watch out! This isn't what you think it is. It's an HMO.
No, no! Fry, I have to talk to you. Hey, can it wait? The goldfish swallower is coming on.